apprenticeships, certificate programs. There's many ways to invest in human capital. What happens then is that you generate different types of human capital from that investment, like skills in integrated pest management, decision-making skills, awareness of market prices, empowerment, apprenticeships, certificate programs. There's many ways to invest in human capital. What happens then is that you generate different types of human capital from that investment, like skills in integrated pest management, decision-making programs. There's many ways to invest in human capital. What happens then is that you generate certificate programs. There's many ways to invest in human capital, like skills. What happens then is that you generate different types of human capital from awareness of market prices, like skills, integrated pest management, decision certificate programs. There's many ways to invest in human capital. What happens then is that you generate different types of human capital from that capital, like skills. Then is that you generate different types of human capital from awareness of market prices, like skills, integrated pest management, decision certificate programs. There's many ways to invest in human capital. What happens then is that you generate different types of human capital to invest in that capital, like skills. Then is that you generate different types of human capital from awareness of market prices, like skills, integrated pest management, and this took place around there's many ways to invest in human capital. What happens then is that you currently working on the synthesis report, and there'll be a global knowledge sharing event on the 24th and 25th of November this month. And what we want to do with these case studies, as you'll hear today, is to really go into depth, provide good practices, provide promising approaches, recommendations on how to invest in things that work. The next slide is a view of the typology. So you can invest in human capital in many different ways. On the left side of the screen, you see the formal ways, the training institutes, your agricultural select a number of case studies across the typology so that we're not choosing everything just in extension programs, but we wanted some informal means, some formal means, as well as the non-formal approaches. When we met to select the case studies, we wanted cases that facilitate innovation for smallholder producers. We wanted cases that combine the hard skills, the technical skills, with the soft skills or functional skills. We wanted programs that build empowerment for producers and that include women, youth, and other marginalized groups. We also looked for cases that had a market or an entrepreneurship orientation, and ones that were holistic and they brought a value chain approach, or they had an integrated approach with different actors so that it's not just a very narrow focus. We looked for innovative cases, cases that we thought might be scalable, those that had a clear value proposition that somebody would want to invest in, whether it be governments or international financing institutions or the farmers themselves. And then we looked for multi-sectoral cases as well. These are the 9 countries that we have used for the case studies. There's several in Africa, Cameroon, Cote d'Ivoire, Kenya, and Rwanda. We have the United States of America with the state of Mississippi, which is in the south. In Asia, we had the Indonesia case and India. And then in South America, we had Peru and Chile. So there's 9 cases altogether. So let me move on and just present A few of our findings, we're still looking at the 9 case study reports, which will be published separately, and we're working on a synthesis report, and that's still ongoing. But I just wanted to share briefly some findings. I won't preempt the Indonesia findings for you, but I tried to bring in some other countries as well. So with regard to technical skills, we found that many farmers in the 9 cases were gaining good agricultural practice skills, things that involve the application of good management principles, but as well as caring for the safety of farm workers and for the environment. We can see here a farmer in Chile who grows berries telling about what they learned during their interview and how they learned, not just to burn everything and not to hunt birds, but to have this environmental care as they practice their agriculture. And these are just some examples that I'm sharing for you. There's many more in the final report. Another thing that we saw happen in the human capital investment was that farmers were gaining social skills and empowerment. They were better able to communicate, they gained leadership skills, they were able to speak in public and be comfortable speaking in public. They were learning skills like critical thinking and decision making. And we see here a quote from a female farmer in Kenya who was getting some gender training as part of the program in Kenya that was working with horticultural programs, horticultural farmers. So we saw these farmers having changes within their family farm and how they worked with the husband and the wife together and how they learned to share the tasks a bit more equally. And the third area of skills that was really built up was this attitude towards farming as a business and getting skills like managerial skills, market skills, financial and record keeping skills.
Yeah. Hello, Christine. Hello. Okay, I think the internet connection from Dr. Christine is getting problems. Okay, we will try to contact Dr. Christine. Ya, mungkin karena untuk efisiensi waktu, ya kita undang dulu Pak pembicara kedua, Dr. Ageng Heriawan. Pak Ageng, ya. He will present about the agriculture human capital investment as a strategic approach for sustainable agriculture and poverty reduction. Please welcome Pak Ageng Heriawan. Monggo.
First, unmute first, sorry.
Oke. Kita masih kontak dulu Bu Christine, Pak. Sambil menunggu ya. Silahkan Bapak.
Fine. Yeah. Thanks you, Pak Suprihatin. So today it is my honor to represent FAO Indonesia, especially, and to share some idea based on our, some mainly country programming evaluation, focusing on the human capacity. So, Pak Suprihatin, I would like to ask permission to share my screen. Yeah.
Yeah, monggo Bapak. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Pak. So, as explained mentioned by Pak Supriyatin at the beginning, I would like to present the agriculture human capacity. This is a strategic approach in Indonesia. This is based on FAO country programming framework in 5 years, 2016 until 2020, that implemented in Indonesia. So I have three topic. This is the first is background in Indonesia about the key relevant factor of human capacity development based on the FAO CPF 2016-2020, and then challenge remains and way forward. This is my outline. So, as most of us aware that Indonesia is vitally significant for its wealth of biodiversity and then also biological resources as well as human resources, because Indonesia is the fourth most populous country in the world. And then in the current medium-term plan or RPGMN in 2020-2024, this is based on the long term of 2005 until 2025. This is this is really challenging because in 2025 we have to achieve some indicator in Bappenas. Bappenas picture is there are at least 19 indicators that should be achieved until 2025, and one of the number 17 is about the how the farmers will adopt the innovative and technology by 80% of the total innovation produced by Indonesia. This is really challenging. How the human capacity could adopt the technology in Indonesia. And also the main issue is also about the economic transformation and human development. This is paramount in a current medium-term plan. Now, I would like to give you some broader picture what our joint government Indonesia and FAO strategic program that implemented since 2016 until 2020. This is the end of year of our country programming framework. There are four priorities. One is about the increased resilience of the livelihood caused by climate change and hazard. The second one is about the sustainable intensification, improved management of the agriculture resources. This is not only agriculture, but also forestry and fisheries. This is how we introduce or promoting the sustainable intensification. And the third priority is about reduction of rural poverty and more inclusive food system. This is the third priority. And the fourth priority, improvement of the policy environment and strengthen partnership. And then now I want to give some kind of emphasize on several issues that this is put as a priority by the government of Indonesia. The first one is about the SDG. All the development program in Indonesia should have a kind of a contribution to achieve the SDG target in Indonesia. The country prioritization of the Indonesia in the poverty reduction, ending hunger, and also economic transformation. But I would like also to highlight about gender equality and decent rural employment. because this is also one of the main issue that we have to promote to achieve the SDG. So as we know that if women would have the better access, so they will contribute more to the agriculture development. But in fact, now we still notice that women have less adaptive capacity, less access to the asset, information technology, and also mobility, in addition to low decision-making power. It means that one of the priority of the human capacity should be promoting gender equality and promoting decent rural employment. This is the first priority. And the second one, maybe most or some of us not really aware about the masyarakat adat. This is most vulnerable group who live in the surrounding forest area, but also they apply and they have a certain food system that supporting their livelihood. So that's why this is the second group priorities group is Indonesia forest-dependent customary communities. This is also now and at risk of being left behind for the development. The third one is also about the food system transformation. The food system transformation is coherence with the national focus on economic and industrial transformation as 4.0. So that's why this is now Indonesia under the new RPJMN in 2020 until 2024. Indonesia already put the flag that they are favorable for shifting the focus of the rural development from only food production to more sustainable and inclusive food system. This is what different between the food production or single approach of the food production is we are more focused on the food quality and nutrition for human development and profitability of the small-scale producer. This is about the situation in Indonesia. And now I would like to highlight challenge remains and how we are moving a way forward. Let's say here, I put at least three main challenges that we are facing now in a human capacity development area. The first one is in the RPJMN 2020-2024, unfortunately, the improvement of human and community capacity are still remain on the 6 priorities. Because still in the economics and other things, the human capacity development is still on the under 6 priority. This is also correspondent with the ministry strategic program that still the human capacity are still remain on the 6 priorities. The second one, I would like to highlight about the extension system and its digitalization program. So in the wake of the law number 16 2006, the extension system is under or established at the provincial, regency, and city level. This is one of the challenges that the extension system is still in dire need of attention of us. So it means that without strong extension system and also integrated between the research and extension system, one of the challenge is the adoption rate of the technology by the farmers and community to support their farming system, their livelihood, and their economic situation at the whole. And the third one is about the agriculture investment. So the agriculture investment is also still one of the remaining challenge to how we can promoting or increasing the agriculture investment. Since in the food security index, one of the weakness in Indonesia is still agriculture investment. So now I want to propose the way forward. This is taking into consideration that the human capacity and also the agriculture system or agriculture development is this is a multifaceted aspect. What we need is the strong partnership with other parties. Today, I'm happy, I'm pleased to hear that the colleagues from the private company also join this kind of the important event to share the human capacity or human capital issue in agriculture development. How we can, let's say, make good transformation is about the quality and timely evident data, information, and knowledge through digitalization for better communication, communicate the evidence and data to the policymaker. Because we need a strong policy and also need also not only the policy but also the regulation to support or to support the farmer level or field or the community level. I think that's all the idea, the strategic approach of our human capacity development process. Thank you, Suprihatin. So over to you, Beck.
Okay, thank you, Pak Dr. Ageng Heriawan for the impressive presentation. Ya, dari presentasi Pak Ageng, pembangunan kita masih semuanya sekarang diarahkan ya ke tujuan pembangunan berkelanjutan. Kemudian tadi disebutkan juga ada 3 challenge ya, terutama prioritas pembangunan SDM di kita yang masih ke-6 ya. Kemudian tadi juga terkait dengan investasi di pertanian dan juga sistem penyuluhan dan digitalisasi program penyuluhan. Ini masih menjadi tantangan di Indonesia, dan kemitraan dengan multi pihak sangat penting dalam pembangunan SDM di bidang pertanian. Oke, for the next, I think we can re-invite Dr. Christine Davis to continue her presentation.
Mau dilanjutkan itunya, oke.
Oke, ya, and the committee will help for the share screen. Time is yours, Dr. Christine.
Thank you very much, Suprihatin. Sorry about the technical difficulties. If we can just move to the slide on the management and farmer business skills, I'll continue from where we left off.
Yeah. Next.
Yeah, we'll move several slides on.
Next.
And the one I'm talking about is titled Findings.
Next. Yeah.
Business Skills and Attitudes. This way you can remember everything I presented again.
Next. Yeah.
Okay. Next one, and then we'll continue. Yeah, thank you. Good. Yeah, so as I was mentioning before I got cut off, many participants started to view farming as a business and started to produce for the market and think about markets and how to produce, how to get good income, how to improve their produce so that they could get better prices and so forth. The farmer from Chile, who's a livestock farmer, mentioned that record keeping was an important skill that they learned as part of the training from a program that was forming alliances between the producers themselves and the companies that were buying their produce supported by the government. Next slide talks about some of the impacts that we've seen. We saw increased incomes in India, for instance. There were female community livestock producers supported by community service providers who were also female. And we saw that their incomes for providing animal care service and rearing animals contributed towards economic well-being. They reported annual incomes of around $240 to $267 from rearing the animals themselves, and about 113 to 160 US dollars for providing livestock services to other farmers. So this really helped with the family incomes, but it also instilled in them a real sense of pride in their work and that they were providing for their families. So the benefits spill over from incomes to empowerment and social relations and so forth. We also saw an impact in terms of opportunities in rural areas for youth. Younger generations, at least in the Chile case, were coming back to the rural areas to earn a living instead of going off to the cities. And one of the young interviewees that we talked to in Chile said, I didn't know anything before, but I've learned everything from this Alliances program. This person went away to the big city, but then they returned to the countryside because they could make a good living in the rural areas. And so this is important for some of these livelihoods as well. And then finally, there were a lot of impacts on social capital. Even though our study focused on individual human capital, we saw that there was a strong link with the social capital and social cohesion. I talked earlier about that farmer in Kenya who saw the gender training as helping her family relationships between her and her husband. Rwanda case study also used a farmer field school approach. And by working with these farmer field schools, the farmers really got confidence both in themselves and as a group. In the farmer field school, there's a participatory approach. Everybody plays a role. All voices are heard. And so farmers, in this case, learn to express their opinions more easily and to interact with other group members as well, which fostered healthy relationships and cohesiveness of the group. So one of the farmers in Rwanda stated that being a member of the farmer field school, she was able to improve her interpersonal relationships and was no longer a loner. So let's just move to the last two slides, and I'll talk a little bit about the sort of initial or early recommendations, because as I said, we're still looking at the case study reports. We have 9 of them to go through, so it's quite a number. But some initial recommendations that we're already finding from the 9 case studies are listed here. One of them is to engage the private sector. We see the public-private producer partnership in Indonesia as a key one to show this relationship with the private sector and to engage the private sector. And they all have their different goals and they all have different things that they're working toward. So I think what we've seen in this Indonesian case is the need for a lot of dialogue and good communication, the need to establish trust, respect, and accountability among the different stakeholders for these good partnerships. And I think in terms of ensuring sustainability and even for a bit of scalability, it's really important to engage the private sector along with the public sector, but also very importantly to engage the producers themselves through their organizations. It's also really important to include women and youth in agriculture human capital investment. The USA case that we looked at, most of the interviews, if not all of them, stated that reaching the youth is really essential to build human capital. In the US system, they start working with youth in the very early ages of school, elementary school, primary school age. And those students start to be exposed to agriculture, start to appreciate it, and start to really understand that you can have a career in agriculture and you can make your living from it. So that's very important too. The Cameroon case, which I haven't mentioned, was a vocational training approach, which was linking youth, sending them to local communities for internships or apprenticeships. And so there was this strong installation of local values, involving the local communities in training the young people, but also linking them to formal education as well. So it's really important to incorporate local communities and local values. It's also important to use integrated approaches. I mentioned this as a criteria for selecting the case studies, but we really want collaboration between the different agencies. It broadens your base of expertise, it gives complementary resources, it meets diverse needs of your audience. And we saw these integrated approaches, at least in the US case, created new initiatives as well that helped build human capital. And then finally, the last point I want to make is to go digital. As we've seen a lot this year with the COVID crisis. And I think there's a lot of opportunities with digital approaches for reaching farmers, for obtaining feedback from farmers, for monitoring and evaluating extension staff. But we have to be careful about digital approaches, and we have to be careful not to widen the gender digital divide and leave out women or other people who have less assets and less resources. So those are some of the initial findings from the overall study, and I look forward now to hearing more from the Indonesia study. So, terima kasih.
Okay. Sama-sama, Christine. Thanks for your interesting presentation. Tadi sempat terpotong, namun memang tantangan investasi di sumber daya manusia pertanian masih menjadi tantangan di kita. Kemudian dari 9 case study yang dilakukan oleh Christine dan kawan-kawan, tadi findings-nya sangat menarik, bukan hanya meningkatkan technical skill, tapi juga social skill, kemudian keterampilan terkait dengan bisnis, attitude, dan pemberdayaan. Dan tadi impact-nya juga peningkatan pendapatan, kemudian juga social cohesion, dan seterusnya. Rekomendasinya tadi juga sejalan bahwa melibat kemitraan gitu seperti tadi disampaikan oleh Pak Ageng juga, kemudian juga melibatkan pemuda dan perempuan, kemudian juga incorporate nilai-nilai lokal dan kelembagaan lokal. Dan tadi challenge yang disampaikan Pak Ageng terkait dengan digitalisasi, Christine, go digital but dengan with care gitu ya. Nanti mudah-mudahan masih ada kesempatan untuk tanya jawab karena waktu terus bergulir. Sebelum itu we will go to the third speaker, Pak Bayu Rahmawan from the Ministry of Agriculture. Please to present about 15 minutes. Time is yours, Pak Bayu Rahmawan.
Baik, thank you Pak Suprayatid for giving us time to present and to share. And it is honor for me also for sharing the programs from the government, especially in the agency, Indonesian Agency of Agricultural Extensions and Human Resources Development, or Badan Penyuluhan dan Pengembangan SDM Pertanian, that we are very dealing with the increasing the capacity of all the human resources development in Indonesia. Not only for farmers, extensions, and professionals, human resources, and all the human resources under the agricultural sectors. So we prepare some slides that maybe we can finish the slides before 15 minutes, Pak Suprayatid. So please, next. Because we are from the government, so we follow the direction from the presidential directives in strengthening the Indonesian economy, particularly in agriculture. There are 3 important things that we have to very focus on it. The first is added value. We have to provide added value as the transformation for farmers from on-farm to off-farm in processing of agricultural products. And the second one is the KUR, or Kredit Usaha Rakyat, intensive assistance for farmers, particularly of farm activities after productions, assistance of financial management, packaging to marketing aspects, and support for farmers credit schemes amounting to IDR 190 billion, and including for the agricultural sectors. And the last one is about the corporate farming, which is we have to collaborating micro, small, and medium enterprises engaged in the agricultural sector in the form of large group or corporations. So our president would like to make the excellent human resources become a main priority. So we are, as the agency under the Ministry of Agriculture's Agency for Human Resource Development, it's very important that we have to do some of the agenda and also objective from the president's for this target. And this is the general objective and main strategy for agricultural human resource developments. If we see the general objectives, then the management of professionals, independence, competitiveness, and enterprise human resource of agriculture. There are 4 pillars under this agency. The first is about the extensions. So we focus on strengthening integrated and modern agriculture extension based on Kostratani. So the Kostratani is one of the new programs mainstream under the ministry, with very dealing with the extensions. And the second one is about the educations, or strengthening competitiveness of agriculture professionals education to support the growth of millennial agriculture entrepreneurs. So we do this education through the formal and informals with the target with the millennials. So we can creating the new farmers, the young farmers, the millennial farmers to be the next generation of this human resource under the agricultural sector. So the third one is the training. So this is part of the informals, that strengthening competency and competitiveness based on agricultural professionals training to support the ministry program. And then the last one is the bureaucracy reform, which is strengthening bureaucratic reforms. So at the end, we would like to make the human resources professionals independent and modern. And then if you see the vision and mission of agricultural human resource development in the long-term development, there are independence, progressive, fair, and prosperous Indonesia. With the vision agricultural program, food sovereignty, farmer welfare, and world's food producers. And the missions of agricultural developments, realizing food sovereignty, competitive agriculture industry, and farmer welfare, and bureaucratic reforms. And if we follow the directions and strategy, and we like to revitalization of agricultural professionals education to achieve competitiveness, international levels, and export-oriented. So this is the high target that we have to achieve. And then strengthening agricultural vocational training, improve agricultural employments, opportunities in production and agricultural competitiveness in export-oriented market, and then strengthening of agriculture extension system to improve production and competitiveness of exports-oriented agricultures. So this policy direction is vocational educations, vocational training, agricultural extensions, and management system. So we would like to make very focus in how we can increase the professionals through training, through informal, through education, to increase their capacities to invest them as the human resource in agriculture sector, to be more capable, to be more accepted in not only in the agricultural sector in the formal, but also in the entrepreneurs, in the how we can creating the new entrepreneurs in the agricultural sectors. And then this is the if we talk about the target that we have, the ministry we have to provide food for 267 million people, and then to improve farmer welfare, and then to increase exports. And of course, we have to do the productivity increasing both quantity and quality. And then we need more farmers. We need more young farmers and farmers regenerations to be more engagement in the agricultural sector. Next. And there are some existing challenges and conditions of agricultural human resources. So as we see that maybe everyone know about this data that demographic bonus that we have now in Indonesia and also its potentials. According to this data, that 20% of the farmers, they don't really ready to get to use the technology, and then 50% they still planning for using technology, and then this demographic bonus period can be a windows of opportunity to increase the society of life quality, but if you cannot manage it well, it will be a window of disasters. So we are in the period that we have to optimize the momentum to get this bonus, that we can double it to scaling up this demographic bonus to get more better increasing of the agricultural sector in Indonesia through the agricultural human resources. Next. And this is the current conditions labor in the agricultural sectors. If you see the data, that there is the decreasing of the labor from the 2015 to 2019, that still declining trend for the labor. And then the education level of farmers is one of indicator of quality of Indonesian agricultural human resources. Farmers' education level affect the level of technology and information adoptions, so that it can to accessibility to finance, market information, and agricultural facilities and infrastructures. And if we accelerate farmers' generations, demographic bonus is 65 million producers labor in 2028, 2035. And then we need to educational investment, we need to equipping skills and adequacy of nutrition to improve family health quality. And that's why we need to creating the human resource in agriculture with the criteria of professionals, independent and competitiveness. And then how we develop the human resource in agriculture. The expected profile, this is part of the how we invest the human resources in agriculture, how we can creating the professionals. We want this human resource to be have competencies in accordance with the professions being engaged in, have the knowledge, attitudes, skills, motivation, and other attributes needed to be successful in their works. And also independent, rely more on initiative, ability, and responsibility on oneself consequently, and avoid the attitude of dependence on others. And competitive, have the ability to face obstacles or ability to achieve success. And then the last one, the entrepreneurial skills, is very important that the human resources should be able to identify new business opportunities and plan profitable agricultural business, have a strong character, and dare to take risks both in domestic and export markets. And then this is the development program and activity of agriculture and human resources. We have the vocational training and education to support the ministry in main programs. So all this main program ministry is development of farmers' economic groups. There is technical training and development of farmers training center. And we have an alumni internship. This is for focus for young generations and development of youth entrepreneurs, and also retooling for alumni and students. So this is the vocational training and education to support the Ministry of Agriculture for the human resource investment in the millennials or young farmers. And then this is the program of millennial farmers. We have a vocational education, vocational training. There is some projects loan from IFA and from others development partners. There's ES program, there is Kostratani, and also the millennial farmers and farmers champion ambassadors. So this effort is to creating the new generation of human resource in agriculture. So I think that it's all for the sharing information, Pak Suprihatin. Over, back to you, Pak.
Okay, thank you Pak Bayu Rahmawan. Nice presentation. Ya, sudah disampaikan bagaimana kondisi tenaga kerja ya atau SDM pertanian di Indonesia yang memang hampir di seluruh negara juga menurun ya. Kemudian juga isu regenerasi petani dan juga bagaimana meningkatkan kapasitas ya dan pendidikan, keterampilan. Dan tadi juga sudah disampaikan beberapa program ya yang dilakukan oleh pemerintah Indonesia, termasuk pengembangan vokasi untuk para petani. Baik Bapak Ibu sekalian, kita masih ada waktu yang mudah-mudahan cukup gitu ya. Sebelum kita ke sesi kedua untuk tanya jawab, saya beri kesempatan untuk satu penanya dulu yang bisa disampaikan untuk ketiga. Oke, atau I will read the question on the chat room. Ya, to Dr. Christine Davis, it is question from Nur Rahman from the Faculty of Agriculture, Mataram University. The big challenge working with small-scale horticulture farmers is how to change mindset of their business. Based on your research, which one is the most important? Business, get more money, or other factors? And also there is Wahyu Priyatno that maybe for the three speakers, the best strategy to improve the market access for smallholder farmers. Okay, who will answer the first? Christine?
Thanks for your question. Yeah, it is difficult to change mindsets, and this is something that Extension has been working with for many decades. I think this is why these integrated approaches are so important. You can't just link farmers to market and think that will solve everything. They need to also have the confidence, they need to have the social skills, the functional skills, how to communicate, how to analyze markets, and you need the technical skills as well. So it's really, I think, a long-term process of working together with farmers, and it's ideal to work in farmer groups where that's appropriate. And I know you're doing that there in Indonesia with the program that we're looking at with Red Sea. So it's really important to have those social elements as well to help to change the mindset. But it's a long-term process of building confidence, setting in place skills, and also linking farmers to market.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Pak Ageng, do you related with the market access for smallholder farmers, and maybe Pak Bayu as well?
Thank you, Pak Prihatin, also a colleague who addressed the question. So the market access, that this is really kind of the systemic situation that we have to understand from the on-farm until the end market. Why? Because how to access market is not only about the they can sell, but how to fulfill the demand side with their characteristic. For example, in our one of our organic village project in West Kalimantan. So actually, with the current with the previous product characteristic, they could only access the local market. So because why? Because this is not rice, organic rice is not really. It's quite. I mean. Common product from the various place. But now, if they can present these special characteristic of the product with kind of the certain issue, for example, how the product will, let's say, contribute to the health issue, for example. With the healthy rice, you will, let's say, get the better health condition or a better nutritious to the human body. This is how to explore the product characteristic and convince the market that the market will recognize the advantage of your product. So that's why from this kind of thing that if you know your product and you know the characteristic of your product, and then you can promote to access a wider market, it means that you have to be ready from the on-farm, and then you will be supported by the communication technology because we also introduce e-marketing, branding, and also the other things. This is on how to fulfill the demand of the new demand of the product. This is, I think, in short, we have to think, systematically or broadly from the on-farm until the end of the market. This is not really, this is still achievable, still doable, as long as you know the demand of your product. This is my idea on this kind of thing. Over back to you, Pak Supriyatna.
Okay, thank you, Pak Ageng Herianto, for the great explanation. Yeah, Pak Bayu Rahmawan, do you have any?
Yeah, thank you, Pak. So, this is also the big challenges. Even we are working in one of the projects of Lonitz Ritzy, and we are very focused on the farmers with very limited access to markets, remote area, and also they are coming from the poverty level, which is very low. And then how we can change their mindset, of course. That's why we have to we open their mindset through the potentials, through the demand side, as Pak Ageng said before, that we have to show them whether surrounding this area, surrounding this the remote area in the villages, and then there is still a potential to creating market there, and getting better and better to fulfill the market surrounding the area. So we need to open their mindset and then trying to get to fulfill in the demand side. And also we have to, of course, because every entrepreneur will need to very close on the coaching. There should be someone or some people that surrounding to give them the coaching to be very tough to be entrepreneurs, and then changing their mindset gradually. So in our ministry, particularly in the Agency for Agriculture Extension, Human Resource Development, we have a pasar tadi, for example. So this is, and then we have to we have also the cooperations or agreement with the Bukalapak, for example, and then some of the online markets. So that's why this is the efforts that we can do to open their mindset of the small scale, that there is a big potentials over there, and then we can bring the demand to the producers, and then we can scaling up the capacities through the training, to the coaching, to the to the needs of the new entrepreneurs, so that the small scale farmer they can increase to be a more better or bigger scale farmers. Then, so I think that's the challenge that we have to do, and we have done with the projects and also with the program under the agency.
Okay, thank you, Pak Bayu. Yeah, because unfortunately, there is time constraint. But I think there is still one question on the chat room, and I think related with the Christine. But I think Pak Ageng and Pak Bayu can also have answer our opinion. And maybe I will highlight about the how to attract the youth. Because about the farmer regeneration of the farmers, it is the issue, and Christine also. On the recommendation how to include a youth for the agriculture human capital investment, how to attract them to be more participate in the agriculture development. Maybe Christine first, and maybe you can give also the closing statement for this session, and then following by Pak Ageng and Pak Bayu.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll try to answer the question about Chile in the chat room, but with regard to attracting youth into agriculture, I know that a lot of people say youth are not interested in agriculture, but that's not necessarily true. I think youth are interested in activities where they can earn income, where they can make money, where they can get a decent life in the rural areas. And so that's what we're seeing, that if youth are making money and have a good livelihood in the rural areas, this is the case in Rwanda, for instance, they're very motivated to start new companies, to advise farmers, and to do a lot of things like that. So we really need the opportunities there. The project that I run, Feed the Future, Developing Local Extension Capacity, has also just released a report on engaging youth in extension and advisory services. So I'll post the link to that report there. But just in terms of a closing statement, I'd like to say that this has been a really super interesting study that we started just this year. I'm so happy to have the Indonesia team with us. I think we have really excellent results from the 4P, the public-private producer partnerships, using lead farmers and farmer promoters and the farmer field schools. So I look forward to hearing more from that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Pak Ageng?
Okay, this is a youth roles. So based on one of the field experience of the FAO project for the in a value chain of the boiled fish in Lombok. So we work with the women's group there to build the integrated processing of the fish. But now they also invite the youth how they can support their mother who work in a processing unit to marketing the product, the new product, better quality product to the market. So because they can access the computer, they can access the market. And then finally, they also built a kind of the tourism in a tourism spot, how to marketing the product of the women groups. So this is a kind of the mutualism of collaboration between youth and women group. So that's why this is we can specify maybe no need the youth to be involved in the processing. In the on farm directly maybe. But rather than how to promote their product, how to promote, how to access a new market and so on, because they are more interesting to use the IT for example. This is my comment on that kind of thing. So now my closing is this is the human capacity is really a soul of the agriculture development. Without strong or without comprehensive connection between research and the extension is we could not promoting, encouraging the farmers to adopt a new technology that will bring the impact to their farming system. So that's why the human capacity development is really the soul of the agriculture development. This is from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Pak Ageng. It is nice closing, yeah, that human capacity is the soul of agriculture development. Okay, the next, Pak Bayu.
Yeah, thank you, Pak. So I think for the mindset that we said before, that how we can bring the young farmers to get involved on the agricultural sectors and until they get bigger and bigger in this business. So we have to do, even in the remote area, we have to bring the ideas of the modern agricultural business. Even in the remote area, we can open up their minds, their eyes, and also bring them the very, very strong idea of doing the modern agriculture business in there. And then we need the role model. Like say we have the Duta Tani Millennial in our ministry. We have some many of roles, young farmers, young millennials farmers, that they can bring this idea to the remote area, to the small scale farmers there, and then they can be a snowball for the next. So that could be the big potential for this Indonesia, for our country to be better and better on the agricultural sector, particularly the investment on human resources. So I think that's the simple idea that we can do at first to bring the idea of modern agriculture as a business. And then for our closing, so we think that the improvement of the agriculture is because of the human resource itself. So we have to invest on the human resource itself, and we can be more productive, and also we can bring this agriculture sector in a modern level for advance for the next futures. So I think that is all from my side, Pak. Thank you, and over back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Unfortunately, because the time constraint, yeah, we have to finish this first session. Yeah, I think we all agree that this session is very, very interesting. And I didn't make a conclusion because all the three distinguished speakers already state the closing statement, and it is very, very interesting. So again, we would like to say thank you very much for the three distinguished presenters, Dr. Christine Davis, Dr. Ageng Herianto, dan Pak Bayu Rahmawan, and all of the audience for the active participation. Now we turn to the second session. The session will be led by Dr. Rani Mutiara. Please, Dr. Rani Mutiara, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Suprihatin. What an interesting discussion. All of you, our distinguished viewer, for the next session, I'm Rani Mutiara, will be the moderator for the second session. The second session is sharing and experiences and knowledge about the development of human capital investment. And for this reason, we have three outstanding research persons already present in our virtual meeting room. The first is Dr. Siti Amana, Associate Professor from IPB University and Vice Dean of Faculty of Human Ecology, and also the team leader for the Agriculture Human Capital Investment Case Study in Indonesia, who will deliver presentation on sharing from Agriculture Human Capital Investment Study Case in Indonesia, investing in lead farmers and farmers group in Indonesia with case in rural empowerment and agriculture development program scaling up initiative ORITSI. And the second research person is Bapak Nicholas Said, Program Officer, Sub-Regional Office for Southeast Asia and the Pacific Asia and the Pacific Division of IFAD, who will deliver presentation on sharing from IFAD investment on agriculture development for eliminating poverty. Good afternoon. Pak Nicholas is already on the line? Okay,
Yeah,
good afternoon.
selamat
Yeah.
sore, thank you.
Selamat sore Pak Nicholas. And last but not least, Ibu Fei Fecho from Asia Coco, Director of Mars, who will deliver sharing from Mars, prospect of investment in agriculture, human capital. Good afternoon, Bu Fei. How are you?
Very well. Nice to be with you.
Okay, thank you. Before we starting, I will explain that each participant will will deliver presentation for 15 minutes and followed by the Q&A session. And please, for all of you viewer, our distinguished viewer or participate, to participate in our virtual Q&A session, please submit your question in chat room, and we will read, or maybe our presenter will directly answer the question from the participant. Okay, we'll start now. For the first, I would like to invite Dr. Siti Amanah to deliver the presentation. The time is yours. Please, Dr. Siti Amanah. Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, Ibu Rani. I will present my paper that this is presented by the committee. Is okay. Thank you for all the team, and also thank you for all participants here, and thank you also for IFRI, FAO, IFAD, and also from Mars that has attend and support this study. Okay, go on. Okay, the background of this study is based on our situation of socioeconomic status of Indonesian smallholder farmer. It's still living in a very poor situation. Even though like that, the agriculture sector contributes about 12.7% of the GDP and employ about 29% of labor force. And it is very important sector for us because agriculture not only provide for us food, fiber, but agriculture also support our energy, something like that. And agriculture human capital investment in Indonesia is very crucial for spurring innovation, not only for farm management decision, but also to empower smallholders. Please go on. And this is our methodology to conduct the case study, which is part of the global study coordinated or led by Dr. Christine Davis. The location is in South Sulawesi with 3 districts, namely Luwu, North Luwu, and East Luwu. Why we choose South Sulawesi? Because this region or this province is the prominent cocoa producers, and only in South Sulawesi province that Red Sea has implemented the principle of 4P and collaborated with Mars. And in this province, the partner for Red Sea has established a farmer learning center called Cocoa Academy. And for data collection, for us to conduct the field work in Red Sea, we collect documentary review and also secondary data from IFAD. We gather information from website and also communicate with some of the source person. And also we collect data from Ministry of Agriculture, both from secondary and also from interview to some key informants. And also we collect data from the private sector, not only for secondary, also from primary sources. And then we also collect data about how the program was implemented from time to time, starting from 2018, if I'm not mistaken, to 2020. How the data was analyzed? We analyze through a non-linear process using in vivo and also descriptively using simple statistical analysis descriptively. Okay, continue. And because we focus on how could we know or how could we learn the influence of the training and also facilitation, coaching, mentoring from the change agent and also from village facilitator. So we deploy a model for evaluation using mixed evaluation model from Bennett model and also CIPP model from a Stapleby. But in Bennett model, we only focused on CASA change. CASA stands for knowledge. What difference or what increase of the knowledge before the farmer participated in the program and after participated in the program? What attitudes that has changes during the time, and also we question about skill that improve during the process of learning, and what other aspiration that farmer would like to have, yeah, in relation with their participation in Red Sea. And from CIPP model, we also learn about the process, the context, yeah, the context of the program, and how about the inputs that have been used to support the program, and also learning about the process, because not easy to influence the people behavior. It's not easy. Yeah, to change our daily life is not easy, as well as the farmers. And as the products output of this program, we call it output also. The farmer, we expect that the increase in knowledge, is it happen or not? Then we explore or we gather information from lead farmer, and also from the extension agent, from the head of agency of agriculture and other informant. Okay, please go on. Yeah, this is our overview of case Red Sea. That is start for the red, because Red Sea is the scaling up from red. Yeah, the scaling up. So the first stage of the red was start in 2008 and finished in 2014. And then because of the successful program of RED, then the Ministry of Agriculture, with the support from IPAD, continue to implement the Red Sea. Why call Red Sea? Because scaling up of RED, and then Red Sea start to implement the principle of the principle of public-private partnership, public-private producer partnership. Yeah, we call it PORFI, and only in South Sulawesi that the local government ready to implement that. Yeah, because the requirement to implement this program, that the local government should pre-finance the program before it started. And from time to time, there are some of the activity implemented, including training for 180 extension worker for farmer field school. Yeah, farmer field school training in cocoa in cocoa agronomy, and also training for 17 master trainer in agricultural training center or BPP, and also vocational training center. And the third activity that has been conducted training for 56 cocoa doctor candidate only from the Central Sulawesi during the previous RED. Yeah, and now from 2019 to up to date, there is implementation of Farmer Festival Cocoa Academy, Cocoa Agronomy for Red Sea Area Project, and also adoption for observation from the IFAD about the MONEP and etc. So this is a kind of the roadmap, yeah, like roadmap of Red Sea, and hopefully during the evaluation there is we call it improvement that has been prepared by the ministry to continue the program in the future. And the objective of RESI, among the objective, the first objective that connect to our case study is about empower individuals and group with the skill, confidence, and resources to sustainably improve their farm and non-farm income and also the livelihoods. Please continue. Yeah, this is what we call it 4P arrangement in Red Sea. If we see it's already what we call it the partner between the producer here meaning the farmers, cocoa farmers that cooperate with the private sector and also the public, yeah. And each of the stakeholders, producer, private sector, and public sector, have a specific tasks in the context of Red Sea. Yeah, for example, private sector provide technical support. Yeah, that was conducted by Mars. Yeah, I think you know Mars. Yeah, Ibu Papai will present it in detail. And public sector, which is local government, should cooperate with Mars and also Red Sea, yeah, and to make sure that the program implemented as planned. And from the facilitation, from the training, from the coaching that have been conducted by the action agents and also village facilitator, it is expected that the product of the farmer, which is cocoa bean, will meet the quality, word quality that can be accepted for mass to entering the global market. So it is an expectation that the income of the farmer will increase. But our study focused on knowledge and skill and also the performance of the group that will be better after the program. Okay, continue, please. So there are some key findings, but at this occasion, we will share with you 5 major key findings from our studies. The first, based on our farmer that we interviewed them, report that they have increased, they have increased their knowledge about modern cocoa farming with meet the requirement for good agricultural practices, and also practical skill on cocoa farming, including technical skill, soft skill, how to communicate better, how to become more confident, and also empowerment. And in terms of productive skill, there is an increase in quality and productivity of cocoa bean, even though some of the farmers still have difficulty to find the quality because of some of the what we call it threat like disease or also pests that attack the cocoa pod. And the third, the confidence of the farmer increased to sell the quality product, meaning the bargaining position of the farmer increased, and the farmer group start to learn and work together to access the market cocoa bean through their phone and also their better communication in using and platform. And beside of that, the farmer also has aspiration to have more practical skill that were trained for future program, meaning that they would like to see in the future that they want to have more strength of practical skill in terms of cocoa farming. Okay, continue. This is a quote from some of our farmers interview. Yeah, the first was from a lead farmer. Yeah, the lead farmer say that he or she can produce organic fertilizer. Yeah, even though they already know about the organic fertilizer to be used in the farm, but still find any difficulty to produce by themselves. And then from application of this organic fertilizer, they have also start to continue to protect their plant by using non-chemical input. Yeah? By using cocoa pod to protect the fruit from pod borer. Yeah? And this progress make them happier and more satisfied with the result. And this is from member of the farmer group of the case study. Yeah, he say that I have learned not only agronomy but also marketing aspect the cocoa bean because this is Mars available in the area. So I know also the framing standard of cocoa bean accepted by Mars. Therefore, I decided to sell the premium standard. This is .3 because some of the cocoa bean also not meet the standard, so they can sell to other buyers like that. And female farmer also involved, although not many. This is also evaluation to our program, to Red Sea program, that maybe in the future can involve more female farmers to the program with a specific competency that he has. So female farmers say that the Red Sea program provide hopes for farmers to restore to the glory of cocoa in the past. These programs recognize equal opportunity for women to become successful farmers, and I feel pride when succeed in implementing the technology recommended by field extension workers. So it is an opportunity to female farmer to increase the income. Please go on. And as recommendation, we recommend that the public-private producer partnership model involves a dynamic relationship among stakeholders that encompasses different interests and resources. So therefore, intensive dialogue, maintaining mutual trust, respect, and accountability among stakeholders affect the effectiveness of the partnership. And the second, Red Sea can be viewed as a support system for the farmer to develop quality products and also the human capital that's very important for the future agriculture. And this is a kind of concrete evidence for private sector engagement in farmer learning. And also farmer field school for community learning is what we call it, a good experiential learning applied in the field. Yeah? And the room to improve is the third, because on the granting mechanism require readiness of the local government to pre-finance the program. So it is important that local government make sure that the finance available in time. This is very important to prevent the delay in the execution of the activities in the field, because this is systemic program, because we cannot delay the harvest, we cannot delay the fertilizer application time. So it is very important the money come in the right time. Like that. Okay, go on. Okay, terima kasih, thank you, Suksma atau Sukron in Arabic, for all the team that have worked together, and also for all key informant, farmer informant, the private sector informant, and also female farmer informant, and also colleagues that have helped in the field, IFRI, IPB University, and also SIRAS, and also for the speaker and the participant and technical staff at the PEMA University that make this knowledge sharing event happen. Yeah, thank you for all of you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Siti Amanah. What's an interesting case study about 4P, public-private producer partnership in cocoa in 3 districts in South Sulawesi. I noted the key finding that Bu Siti Amanah mentioned, and also for the recommendation that the 4P give mutual benefit both for the farmers as well as for the company. So maybe for the next discussion, please, if you have any question, please submit your question in chat room so we can discuss, and then we can share your experience, our experience in an interesting discussion. So for next, I would like to invite Bapak Nicholas Set from IFAD to deliver the presentation. Okay, I offer to you, Pak Nicholas, please.
Hello, thank you, Ibu Mutiara. Thank you, Ibu Siti, for the nice presentation, and thank you for showing the good results that RITSI is obtaining, and Reed and RITSI are obtaining, I should say. I would like to take this opportunity also to thank Mas Bayu, who, as a project manager for RITSI, is putting a lot of effort behind the project, and without him, we wouldn't be in the situation that we are today. Should I share my screen then for the presentation, or let me do it myself then? Just if you just give me a second, share screen. Yes, this one here. Share. Okay. Can you all see the presentation?
Yeah. Okay. We are ready.
Okay. Perfect. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. My presentation is fairly short, only 8 slides. I will try to go through it fairly quickly. I prefer to give more time to discussions and Q&A sessions, which I find are more interesting than going through PowerPoints. So just in the context of investing in human capital, IFAD's motto may be seen, and you can see through our logo, is investing in rural people. So people are really at the forefront of our mandate and our work. Just to give you a quick background about IFAD, we are a UN specialized agency. In fact, we are the only UN fund that is dedicated to agriculture. We are also an international financing institution, which means that we actually provide funding funding to governments through loans and grants to implement projects such as READ and RITSI. We have now been active in Indonesia for about 40 years, and our main mandate and objective is poverty reduction and sustainable rural development. Our main target are obviously poor, active poor and rural people, including men, women, and more importantly, including youth as well. And as I mentioned, we work through lending and loan lending, which basically means loans and grants to governments. Now, just to give you a very brief overview of the IFAD strategic framework. So as you can see, our strategic vision as an institution is inclusive and sustainable rural transformation. So we're looking at really transforming rural areas and supporting rural people. In fact, our overarching goal is that poor rural people can overcome poverty and achieve food security through remunerative, sustainable, and resilient livelihoods. That's a bit of a mouthful, but it basically means ensuring that poor rural people have more income and better nutrition. Now, in order to do this, we have three strategic objectives, which also, in a way, capture a bit the discussions that we were having today. Strategic objective 1 is increasing poor rural people's productive capacities. This basically means investing
Nicholas,
in. Yes?
sorry to disturb, but your slides are not moving. We're still seeing page 1. Do you want to move the slide down, as we are seeing only the first page?
Yeah.
Are you still seeing only the first page?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, wait.
Okay, now it's working. It's working now.
I'm not sure what you see now. Do you see, what slide do you see right now? Sorry.
The strategic framework.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So as I was saying, we have three strategic objectives. So the first one is increasing rural people's productive capacities, which is again a fancy way of saying investing in human capital, but not only. Strategic objective 2 is increasing poor people's benefits from market participation. So this is what we were saying also earlier, that we also need to support rural people and farmers to have better access to markets. And the third one is strengthening the environmental sustainability and climate resilience, which basically means, again, supporting rural people and farmers to have to be more prepared, basically, to tackle climate and environmental impacts and issues. So the next slide is on the strategic objectives in Indonesia, which are very similar. So I'm not going to go into these into too much details, but again, I want to highlight the fact that human capital and access to markets are really at the forefront of our work in Indonesia. And this is highlighted by the strategic objectives 1 and 2, again, of the IFAD strategy in Indonesia. Here, I also want to mention that obviously, as a UN agency, our strategy and our country strategy in Indonesia is very much aligned with the UN SDCF, which is the UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework. So we really try to work as closely as possible with our UN counterparts and colleagues. Now, to get to the crux of the question, how does IFAD invest in human capital? Now, a lot has already been said by our colleagues Mas Bayu and also Ibu Siti in relation to the READ and RIDC projects. But just to give you, again, a quick overview. So IFAD invests in human capital by supporting agricultural extension services. And this is the work that we do a lot with Kementan. This includes obviously providing equipment to the PPL and to the DINASes at sub-regional level as well. And this includes training extension officers. So some of this work we also do with partners such as Mars, but I will get to that in a minute. Part of the equipment also, if you want, is to support, IFAD is also supporting, the Kostratani initiative that Mas Bayu was mentioning also earlier. The second way that we invest in human capital is by supporting community planning and farm organizations where possible. This again is born from our conviction that development has to come from communities. It cannot be top down. It has to be bottom up. And the only way to do that is to make sure that communities are in a position to make decisions and to influence decisions, but also to plan and analyze properly their needs, not just in the short term, but even in a more medium to long term process. IFAD also invests in trainings, and this is also done through farmer field schools, as mentioned by other colleagues. And IFAD also subsidizes direct investments to farmers. So this is usually done through matching grant activities. Our other conviction in IFAD is that giving freebies is never a good idea. Donating equipment to farmers or to farmer groups in the long run can be also damaging. So we very often avoid doing that, trying to avoid giving also for simple grants to farmers as well. So what we look to do is what we call matching grants, which is basically subsidizing to some extent investments and asking farmers and farmer groups to put a little bit of their money into the investments. And this can range depending on the institution, depending on the income of the farmers. This can range from anywhere between 10 and 50% of the investments. These trainings and investments are done not just at the production level, so we're not talking just about inputs and seeds, for example, but also post-harvest, so value addition, packaging, and agribusinesses as well. And then obviously financial literacy and farming as a business, as has been mentioned by Kristen also and other colleagues. One of IFAD's convictions, not just in Indonesia and globally, but globally, is that the best way to support farmers and to increase their incomes is to help them to move towards a more business-oriented farming. Now, this does not mean it has to be commercial. It does not mean that you need to have hectares of land and produce only cocoa to sell to Mars, for example. But this means being aware of your comparative advantage as a farmer, aware of the benefits or the qualities of your land, and aware of what are the market needs. Which products sell more, at what price, in which seasons. This anecdotally, and I will get back to that, I very much appreciated the two questions that were asked in the previous session on access to markets and engaging youth. So if I do have 5 minutes after, I would like to get back to that and provide a quick answer to that myself. But moving on, again, to access to markets, actually, IFAD also supports very strongly the forging and strengthening of partnerships. Now, this can be done either with financial institutions who can, provide loans or insurance to farmers, but also other market actors. And again, market actors here don't necessarily mean big companies like Mars. We obviously work a lot with them as well as we do in RITSI, but this also means engaging with smaller input suppliers, with the middlemen to some extent that are not always just a problem. And then, also smaller aggregators in various areas and transporters as well, for example. And then last but not least, another area which is of great importance also in terms of human capital is supporting enabling environments. And so this basically translates into supporting governments and line ministries, in this case, such as Kementan, but also Bapenas, to review their policies and to develop policies that are conducive to supporting smallholder farmers. This does not necessarily mean also subsidizing or having big subsidies on rice inputs, for example. An enabling policy environment could mean, for example, facilitating access to finance, having rules and regulations that impose less restrictions or less needs of documentations, etc., on farmers to help them have easier access to finance. Now,
Pak Nicholas, please. Pak Nicholas, before
yes?
you're continuing, would you like to using the slideshow for a bigger area of the screen?
I would like to try, but the problem is now.
Okay.
This is
okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Now,
Okay.
if I move, do you see the next slide?
Okay. Yeah, we'll see. But if you have any, because we want to get the bigger area in our screen, but it's okay if you using.
Okay. Do you see the slide in the IFAD and Indonesia results?
I think it's how does IFAD invest in human capital? Yes, the slide number 6 and number 5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't understand. When I do slideshow, it does not. It does not work.
Okay, it's okay. So please continue.
Yeah. Sorry about that. For some reason, this does not, it's not allowing me to do the slideshow. Maybe this is easier for you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so let me move to the next slide. Oh, no, sorry. Let me come back here. So this is a slide that shows some of the results that we have achieved as IFAD in Indonesia. Just to do a little bit of publicity for my institution. But jokes aside, with the activities and the engagements that I mentioned beforehand, these are some of the results that we have managed to achieve. So first and foremost, we reach about 13 million rural women and men, or we have reached 13 million rural women and men in Indonesia in the last 40 or so years through our projects. From some assessments of various projects, we've seen that on average, IFAD supported the beneficiaries. So more than 70% of these 13 million people have reported an increase in incomes. Similarly, we've seen that some of the extension work that we have done has allowed farmers to increase production significantly. For example, up to 60% for rice, 193% for cocoa, and 240% for coconut. So these are very impressive and very important increases in production and productivity. And then also in terms of food security, because again, IFAD does not only work again on poverty, but also on nutrition and food security. So 95% of the IFAD supported households consider themselves food secure. And some of this has also been attributable to IFAD projects. Now, just here, I wanted to make a few points on what are the lessons learned that we are able to take away from these projects and from IFAD's activities in Indonesia. First and foremost, for an institution such as ours, one of the most important parts is the alignment with government priorities, both at national but also at local level, particularly in Indonesia, where there is an important decentralization. Provincial and district governments have a lot of say into what happens in their areas. It is incredibly important to make sure that the interventions that one wants to implement are fully aligned with their strategies. If local governments are not interested in your project, it's not going to happen. So that is a key part. The second is, again, around investment in human capital. So empowerment, which is another way of saying investing in human capital, is an effective tool, and it is the most effective tool, in my view, to achieve sustainable development. As I was mentioning earlier, development has to be bottom up. So you need to invest in the people who will bring about development in their own areas. And also, this also links to sustainability. If it's the people that you are helping are fully aware and understand and are fully participating in the activities, then you can somewhat guarantee that there will be a sustainable impact in the long run. One of the third lesson learned, and this is also relates to number 2, is community-driven development approach. So in a lot of projects that IFAD implements in Indonesia, and particularly RITSI, we have mobilized a number of village facilitators. So at village level, people that are part of the communities, part of the village, but that also their role is to mobilize the local communities to convey the messages of the project, but also the other way around. Make sure that the messages and the needs of the communities are brought back up to people like Mas Bayu and other project managers who sit in Kementan in Jakarta. So this has been a key aspect of our projects. And then last but not least, partnerships and linkages with markets need to be win-win. So this is one way I wanted to answer to that question of how do we support access to markets? It has to be a win-win situation. And this is the case with Mars, for example, where the point is that let me using Mars as an example. So Mars is helping us to train extension officers and farmers. And broadly speaking, this is of interest for us as an institution and for farmers and for government, because it means that the extension officers have better capacities. But it is also in the interest of Mars, whereas better extension services ultimately or hopefully will mean that farmers produce better quality cacao and in greater volumes. And this is exactly what Mars is looking for. So one good way of ensuring market linkages and ensuring market access is that there is a win-win situation between the off-takers and the suppliers. So with this, I will leave it at that, and I'll be very happy to answer questions in the Q&A session. So thank you very, very, very much. And I guess the floor is all yours, Faye.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Nicholas. As I know, IFAD worked in Indonesia over 40 years. So many projects of IFAD already adopted by government of Indonesia, such as poverty alleviation project, rural credit, and also the empowerment, farmer empowerment project, which is already adopted and using as a policy and implement for our ministry in Ministry of Agriculture. So for the last speaker, I would like to invite Ibu Faye from Mars to deliver the presentation, because everybody wants to know why the big company like Mars work with the farmers and then work with the small farmers in South Sulawesi and other province. And we know what is the strategy and what is the PPP already implemented by the Mars. So please, I offer to you, Bu Faye.
Thank you. So if you can pull the presentation up that I shared yesterday.
Okay.
Thank you. So hi everyone. Terima kasih. Selamat sore. I am very happy to be here today to just share a little bit about some of our experiences and learning from the READ and then the READ-C program. And, you know, happy to take questions at the end as well. So is the presentation coming up, or do you want me to share?
Please, Ibu Asi, would you like to put it the presentation, or maybe Bu Faye? No, the presentation.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Bu
All
Faye.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. So next, I just want to introduce a short. So I work for Mars. Mars is a business that is family owned, and we are a principles-driven business. And I'd like to talk about the principle of mutuality, which was articulated by the founder 50 years ago, where he said, well, actually 60 years ago, where he said, the reason Mars exists is to create a mutuality of benefit for all stakeholders, be it from the farmer to government to consumers and the supply chain. So driven by that, the family sort of principles, we also came up with a purpose. We know the world we face today is very challenging, whether it's COVID, whether it is social inequality or economic inequality, or whether it is a number of climate change and a number of issues. We all face it collectively. So really it starts that everyone has a role to play. And of course, businesses have a role to play as well. And so the purpose that you see on the slide is really saying that the world we want tomorrow has to start with how we do business today. And so I think the change starts today. So maybe if you can move to the next slide. I want to start by thanking clearly no one company or one government or one community can do and make this change that's needed on their own, and that it will require collaborasi. Yeah? But this is, I call it collaborasi yang luar biasa. So it's uncommon. It is something that we need to even change the way we interact and collaborate. And of course, it's still on the basis of trust, and it's the basis of the fact that we all have a collective, united vision of where we want to go. But vision has to be translated into strategies and actions that are complementary on the ground. So I want to thank, of course, the Minister of Agriculture, Kementan, as well as our partners, IFAD, in this READ-C program. Next. I want to start with the question of why companies are investing with smallholder farming. The reality is it's a business it's a business imperative. We need cocoa to make chocolates, and that's the business. And so if cocoa is declining, for example, in Indonesia, we've seen the production decline because cocoa was not giving farmers the income that they require to sustain a livelihood for their family. They left cocoa. So we saw a massive decline. And the only way to change that is that we have the solution. So, and I'll tell you a little bit more about some of the research Mars does in breeding, better planting material, and pest and disease management. But I think I agree with everyone in today's discussion that says the real investment is really in human capital, and that only when communities and farming communities adopt these practices, that's when we will start to see changes in their livelihoods that ultimately gives the world the food and companies something to thrive on and to grow. So we not just looking at it from a farming family community level, but we have to think about it at a community and as well as at institutional level. So we've seen production decline, we've seen consumption going up, particularly in Asia. And we have the solution. The question was, how do we get this solution in the hands of directly? Mars works with about 60,000 farmers, but indirectly, we have to reach 300,000 cocoa farmers. Okay, so that was sort of the grand challenge. Next. So the way we thought, okay, we want to scale quality planting material, we want to scale better inputs, we want to scale knowledge on how to manage pest and disease. We thought, okay, let's privatize and create small businesses in the village. So we started this CDC, Cocoa Development Center, Cocoa Village Center model. That was back in 2012 when we thought, okay, let's do it through a business because we are a business. We know how to do things through a business. Let's create these businesses in the village where we will start with using and leveraging a lot of the community assets. So I'll tell you why I find it so exciting, because when you work in Indonesia and you work in all these rural communities, there's a few things that's already there. One, very high social capital and trust amongst community. And that means they are very cohesive and they have ability for collective action. So that's already evident. Number two, Indonesian farmers are incredibly entrepreneurial. Number three, they have this innate desire in them to not only be successful. Why would I only want to be successful? I want the other farmers in my kelompok tani, in my village, to also be successful. So you see this peer-to-peer learning, the social network learning happening quite rapidly. And that's because it comes from their desire to help others succeed. Number four, women's participation is crucial. And it has to happen at all the levels of where decisions are made. One, at the farming family level, between the husband and wife deciding what investment needs to go back into the farm and what needs to go into other parts of the needs of the family. The other one is at the village level. How can women increase their voice in Muslembang and things like that? And then number five, youth are the solution. Youth are early adopters of technology. And we did the baseline, and I shared the baseline in the chat. And we found youth are actually very interested in farming, but they need access. They need access to knowledge. They need access to land. They need access to the financing and things that support them. Because, and so we started to say, okay, there's so much going on in these communities. How can we put it together and create these businesses? So we set up these cocoa doctors, and these cocoa doctors, besides just creating really good quality seedling and inputs, they became mentor. They became pendamping to the farmer. The reason why is because if the farmer is successful, they come back and they got more business. So it became a virtuous cycle of supporting everybody to become successful. Next, I took this picture on the right. I took from my cocoa doctor, my Facebook. I follow the Asosiasi Cocoa Doctor Kolaka Utara, and they show a lot of pictures of their farmer field school. And even with COVID happening, they continue because they are from the community, right? There's no restrictions like how we might have restrictions to travel. Next. Okay, having tried this for a number of years now, I just wanted to share a little bit some of the leading indicators. The blue line is what we call the adoption of good quality clones, and the green line is GAP adoption, so good agricultural practices adoption. And we were finding that in areas where there is this cocoa doctor networks, we saw 3 times higher adoption of superior clones. We also know that we created, when we recently Cocoa Sustainability Partnership, Kementan asked us for, give me all the capacity of nursery, cocoa nursery in Sulawesi, and we pulled together the data. We found that we had created in these 4 areas a 13 million annual capacity of planting material. And these are all, Mars didn't do anything. We trained them, we helped them set up the nursery, we provided the budwood and the good clones, and then we left them to grow. And this is the result. So clearly there is an impact, and it's an impact that is possible. But I wanted to show in the next slide is that this takes time. Sorry, that's the one. This time is a key factor for any kind of technology adoption, right? But there were things we did something different at the start, and there were things that we kind of did differently at the middle, because technology adoption, the Rogers learning curve said in your start, you need to focus on the early adopters. Make sure your wow and demonstration farm is wow, like really fantastic. Start to build the service delivery. So we focus a lot on the Cocoa Doctor building at the start. And then we worked a lot through PPP on Farmer Field School and all that. But we got to about 90% adoption. So we did a lot of starts to go into the spontaneous adoption. Farmers see other farmers becoming successful very visibly, and they started to want to adopt as well. And that needs a different set of criteria for it to happen. And I call that you've got to make sure that the input's available at the last mile, and that this farmer network and sharing becomes, they learn from each other. So time is a key factor, and that we need to ensure that we are doing the right things at the right time. Next. So RITSI was a program for us, now that we learned a lot from this Cocoa Doctor and all that, to scale it even further. And we went into this partnership. So the image on the left is the research center. Mars has 2 research centers that we focus on research in better and more productivity and quality of planting of cocoa. The research now goes to a Cocoa Academy. In the Cocoa Academy, it's a master trainer. So we train the trainer in agronomy and business entrepreneurship. And I really want to thank the RITSI program for helping us. Now that when we had COVID, we had to move to a sort of a virtual learning environment. And we work with the Badan Besar Pertanian to move to a lot of our material into videos and virtual learning. So it was really, I think, a true partnership. Yeah. The next slide. Next. It's also important in a partnership to be very clear what success looks like and how we're going to measure it. So one of the other things we work together on within the RITSI program is what we call coming up with a rapid measurement called adoption observation. So if you walk into a farm using just 14 questions, you can, in 10 minutes, you can know whether this is a performing farm. So we train a lot of the monitoring evaluation team and the field facilitators on this method. This method will rapidly tell you the performance of the farm. It tells the farmer what he needs to focus on. And more importantly, it gives a good plan that we can come back and follow up on later. So it is a very holistic approach to looking at a joint measure of success. And in the next slide, I'm very pleased to see that the REITC team is looking at this data regularly and making their plans based on the results that's coming out. So the adoption observation is giving the program indicators of whether farmers are adopting or not, and we are able to now adjust the program management. So I see Mas Bayu, so who started to put this together. Now we're using a lot of data-driven insights to discuss the next step. Next. So we also do a lot of work with youth and millennial farming. And the way we started out is we have 3 sort of engagement level. One is the SMK. We work with SMK to introduce what we call the STEM Ag curriculum and train teachers and train the administrators of the school to do a school development plan. We also look at the youth community piece, which is how can we incubate businesses to support this ecosystem, right? Farmers have many needs. How can we turn all these needs into business and get the youth involved, youth and women? And finally, of course, we work with at the policy level as well to influence. And I think education is becoming more and more critical in light of COVID, because now the rural communities and children are even further apart. Their ability to not access learning now because schools are closed is becoming a huge issue in rural communities. So we need to rethink how might education need to look and change, right? And so I'm happy to be speaking to people who are educators here, and maybe we can come up with views as to how can we better ensure that the rural community divide is not even enhanced now that with COVID in the next coming years. So finally, next, just want to do a quick summary. Actually, we learned a lot, and we are happy to share a lot of the learnings. I think the key things I want to just take away with, if anything, is that let's focus on the adoption of the innovative practices, look at how we can increase income, reduce the risk for farmer, know your farmer is using a lot of traceability tools where we actually understand and can track the farmer progress. Trust is very important, whether it's trust in the market or the credit debtor trust or trust in extension, because my bottom line is the farmer will not adopt something if he does not trust. And he needs to see to believe, but also he needs to be able to trust that if I do something and it fails, who's going to help me manage that risk? So we need to think about it very holistically. We need to take an ecosystems approach, and we need to measure and make sure that we are always on track, and then we adjust and adapt if the data is not coming through as we expected. So I just wanted to, and finally, last slide, I think it's the last slide, is, we're still learning. We continue to learn, to look at how we can further going forward is diversification of income. We call it sustainable cocoa tomorrow, and empowerment of women and communities. So our big focus is we've learned a lot, but we need to learn and keep learning further. So the idea is that ultimately we have a thriving cocoa community that, of course, Mas in the ecosystem also can benefit from. So thank you, and I want to close it at that. Happy to take questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Bu Fei, for your interesting presentation. I learned a lot from your presentation and remind me about the adoption curve, Roger adoption curve or adoption. Yeah. We see at our chat room, there is only one question. It's from Karen Ramirez. Yeah, it already answered by Ibu Siti Amanah. The question is it possible to create a circular economy model with farmers? What would it take? So please, Pak Nikolasit, your comment for the question. Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's $1 million question, I believe. If we had the answer to that, we would all be out of a job right now. No, jokes aside, I think, again, picking up on Ibu Siti's reply, it is possible. There's definitely a challenge, but it is possible. I think there is also a lot of work being done on integrated farming systems, for example, which looks at farming systems and farms that are self-sustainable, and that don't need an incredible amount of additional external inputs. Now, a circular economy model with farmers, again, I mean, it's complicated, because that would also obviously mean taking into account the markets, the purchasers, etc. So it is a challenge. I think it is possible to a certain extent. On the productive sides, again, there is the good agricultural practices, and as I was mentioning, integrated farming systems. But it goes beyond that, and I think there's still a lot of thought that needs to be put into this. So I'm sorry that I don't have the silver bullet answer to that question today, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you, Nicholas. Bu Fei, your comment about the question? Yeah.
The next question will be, I mean, I think where we need to go as in these rural communities is, when we think about income, every farmer has 1 hectare. That's a typical smallholder. And we need to rethink how can we help the farmer maximize what he can get out of that farm, the farming family. And so the way we are thinking about it is, it's not just cocoa. Cocoa is half of it, and then there is other crops that comes in for other months of the year when there's no cocoa crop. We have to think long term. If he puts timber, kayu, at the side, that is become his 15-year saving and investment, so that he can go to the Hajj, or he can pay for his daughter's education in university. So we are rethinking to think, if we put the farming families at the center, what the other thing, the benefit is having multiple crop, diversified farm actually helps in a lot of what we call ecosystem services. It brings in the pollinator, it helps with the soil, it brings in more biodiversity, and it really reduces a lot of input needs and things like that. So it is somewhat at a microclimate level, a thinking going forward. But then at the landscape level, how can we better help the government, local government, to plan the landscape better? Certain areas are suitable for rice. Silakan, irigasi, rice. But then there are certain areas that is perkebunan. Let's do it in an agroforestry with trees and cocoa and all that. So I think we need to think at it at several levels. And that the answers are, I agree with everyone who said, the answers are within the community, the knowledge. We may need to bring in 1 or 2 different access to market to, provide more opportunities, but, food security, and I think every community needs to be self-sustaining as well.
Okay. Even though Dr. Siti Amana already answered the question, but I would like to invite you to give a comment, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Ibu Rani. Yeah, as I said before, that green economy or economy, it is possible to create a circular economy model with farmer. Would be possible and very possible, as long as there is opportunity to the farmers to implement that. And we don't forget the consumer side. The consumer should accept the higher price of that, because when we implement the green principle, then it would take more human resources to protect the plant and etc. So impact with the higher price, usually like that. For example, we can compare the price as conventional price of rice to organic rice price. Yeah, this is a gap between the conventional and non-conventional. So that also need the participation of the consumer to accept the higher price. Yes, that's from my side. But I think GAP, good agricultural practices, is also an example of that. so we can support the circular economy based on farmers' role in that situation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our distinguished viewer and all the resource person here, the Q&A session has been completed and also captured the issue that the strategy can be applied more broadly. I will end this session, the second session, by thank to the speaker, Dr. Siti Amanah from the IPB University, Pak Nicholas Set from IFAD, and Ibu Fei from Mars, who had very interesting presentation and insightful presentation. Thank you for all of you, and I hope the 4P will be a good strategy to empower farmers and also give benefit for all stakeholders within the agribusiness system. Thank you for you all, and I will offer to Professor Budi Guntoro to wrap up. Please, Prof. Budi.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And just quick.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Thank you, Bu Rani. For the first session presentation, the wrap up would be Pak Johan, yeah. Please,
Okay.
Pak Johan.
Okay, I will share screen.
Already, yeah.
Okay, this hasn't been devised. I already make a revision, but because I have numbers of the point, but this is only to make simplify us or to make a conclusion or to make an highlights, but from session 1 that presented by Mrs. Christine Davis, Mr. Ageng Herianto, and Mr. Bayu Rahmawan. That we already known, we have already seen that in the initial video of this sharing event, that is Indonesian cultures are shown as the main capital for developing agricultural culture in Indonesia. That in the number 2 and until number 6 is presented by Mrs. Christine Davis. The aim of FG is to improve investment to enhance agriculture capital formation, particularly in farmers, and increase productivity, and they get higher income. And the method of this research is by case studies, and most of the variety is by expert report. And also we know the finding of this research is in average in 9 countries finding good agricultural product, increasing social skill and empowerment, and also strengthen the business skill and attitude. And also finding the increased income and rural livelihood for youth and social cohesions. And Mrs. Christine also recommend from FG is how to engage the private sector, include youth and women, and incorporate local values and institutions, and employ integrated approach. And this is the must in focus on go digital. And the next slide. Yeah. This is highlight from Mr. Ageng Herianto that so said that the economic transformation and human development in Indonesia is still target on from 17 points of the SDG goals as must be achieved. And food system formation focus on rural development, and agriculture investment is must stressing in communities access to services, digitalization, and strong partnerships. And also Mr. Ageng Herianto suggestion the transformation from farmers also from on-farm to off-farm in processing of agricultural product, financial institution, and corporate farming. The main strategy from the Ministry of Agriculture in Indonesia is extension, education, training, and bureaucracy reform, farmer regulations, farmer education level affect the level of technology and information adoption so that it can be determined accessibility to finance, market information, agriculture facilities, and infrastructure. And expected of the agriculture access to support sustainability agriculture, professionalism, and entrepreneurial skills. And the next slide. Yeah. This is from the question and answer from discussion. It is still difficult to change the mindset, but Mrs. Kristen Davis said it's link farmer to market in Indonesia, increasing farmers in the farmers group capacity. And from Mr. Ageng Herianto said the systemic situation and demand characteristic, and starting from the market and an assessment. And that is the wrapping up from the session 1. And the next wrapping to Mr. Budi Toro. Please, Mr. Budi. Please, Mr. Budi.
Yes.
Time is yours.
Yes. I could not check my screens, my share screen. Probably from admin, you can set your share screen. Halo. Saya tidak dapat nge-share ya.
Mungkin bisa dicoba lagi, Pak.
Sebentar. Oh, oke.
Buka dulu filenya, Pak.
Ya, sudah.
Oke.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Johan, also Ibu Dr. Rani Mutiara, our resource person, speakers, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to continue the short wrap up from the presentation by our resource person, Dr. Siti Amanah, Mr. Nicholas Shed, and Ms. Fei Fei Cho. Okay. Investing in human capital for agriculture development needs partnership among public sector, that is a government or NGO, and private sector, and also producers, farmers, and community development approach to achieve goals. IFAD support to agriculture extension services, community planning and farmer organization, training, and direct investment to farmers, working and strengthening partnership and supporting and enabling environment. Empowerment is an effective tool to achieve sustainable development and rural transformation, and partnership and engaging with market need to be win-win. March experience with Cocoa Doctors program, it increased adoption rate and SMK engagement or young community engagement to increase confidence as millennial farmers. To be strong the program, the adoption of innovative practices, trust in partnership, and sustainable intervention. Based on case study by Ibu Siti Amanah and team, farmers increase knowledge and practical skills, including technical skill, soft skill, and empowerment, productive skill, and farmer confidence. The program helped farmers to strengthen the farmer group to learn and to work together to access markets. That's all our wrap up. Dr. Rani, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please, Bu Elvira.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, now we are in the closing session of this National Knowledge Sharing event. We would like to thank to the presenter, Dr. Kristen Davis, Dr. Ageng Heriawan, Pak Bayu Rahmawan, Dr. Siti Amanah, Mr. Nicholas Shed, and Ms. Fei Fei Cho for the great sharing and discussion, and for our moderator, Dr. Suprihatin and Dr. Rani Mutiara, who has made this discussion fruitful.
Okay, and we also would like to thank to all the participants for your time and full engagement in this event. Kami mengucapkan terima kasih kepada seluruh peserta atas partisipasi aktif dan kesediaan mengikuti kegiatan ini hingga akhir. Let us close the National Knowledge Sharing event by saying Alhamdulillah. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Terima
Thank you.
kasih.
Congratulations all.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Bapak dan Ibu semuanya.
Terima kasih.
Thanks.